Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're taking a look here at Chiliz, helping you understand the best practices of big picture, and the goal is to make sure that you are well informed and make an informed decision. Now, when we drew out this chart yesterday, I sent out an update, of course, recognizing the fact that we have a potential cup and handle pattern. Obviously, the handle hasn't formed yet. And there's a good chance it may not, honestly, based on how hard it broke through that resistance level. So this is actually more of a positive than a negative because even though it didn't reject, you still are much higher in your position than you were before. What we want to also look at is overextension, kind of understand how much further this could go because it was technically overextended yesterday, and that does imply that we could very well see a turnaround even still, but it may not be as severe or as large as expected, okay? As you can see, I had some fun with the charts yesterday, so allow me to go ahead and remove that. So here's the thing, really quick, just to note, I'm not a financial advisor. I love teaching people to trade, so I hope you understand that this is always just, this isn't financial advice, it's just me trying to help you understand how to become better traders. I have an amazing trading academy community and signal group. We all learn and grow together, and it's just been an awesome, awesome experience. In fact, let's go ahead and reload this here and see how much new members we have. We've actually got a lot of folks coming over here. We're at 251. In the beginning of the week, I think we were at like 245. So thank you to all the current and newer members joining over. It's really awesome to have you on there and hopefully educate you on specific thoughts and practices there. So what I want to show you just really quick is just some of the results here on the signals. You can see here with Solana, yesterday we took a short, got a nice 58% in just under 2 hours. So again, awesome stuff there. Well done to all the community members for having, taken part of that, and also well done to all the other trading members that are doing fantastic. Mechanical Investor, while I know you had a little bit of a hiccup with one of your trades, you're absolutely jumping right back in there. I love it. And that's a Chiliz long, of course. Big surprise, we're looking at Chiliz right now. So our community is definitely doing some awesome stuff. So again, be sure to check that out in your own time. Very last thing, of course, is King's Cup Global Invitation. Make sure you register with my link in the description below for Bitget. If you're already using Bitget and you want to be part of my team, make sure to send me a direct message. We've got 9 members here registered. We need 11 to go ahead and qualify. And this is a really awesome invitation, whereas we have until November 20th to get registered and essentially enter the group stage from the 21st to the 3rd. Roughly, I think that's a 2-week period there. So again, awesome stuff there. Bitget is not only the best exchange that I've ever used, but it also is fantastic in the sense that it really helps you understand, there's like awesome demo trading there as well, which I always recommend too. And there's a great learning platform. So it's just super smooth, super awesome. And every month they have giveaways. We had a $10,000 giveaway last month for our community. All right, so taking a look here at Chiliz. This is kind of where we're at. So obviously we had the cup and and no handle right here, right? Again, it doesn't always happen that way. And the reason why it did is because it broke through this key level resistance very hard, very strong. Oftentimes the first attempt doesn't break through, but of course this one did. And a lot of it has to do with, of course, the big picture and what's going on too with, with the soccer world, the soccer industry. That's what Chiliz is all about, and that's kind of raging right now. That's all the rage. So fundamentals are kicking in here pretty strong. Because if you look at the technical, we can kind of see here that TD sequential is telling us we're at an 8 on the daily. Okay, that's getting very, very close to overextension. And if you take a look at the 4-hour, you can see also we are at extreme overtime right now. So it literally should have pulled back on that resistance level and came back down to the next Fibonacci retracement level, but instead it continued higher. Again, that's where fundamental catalysts have a big impact here. And a lot of times you want to make sure to pay attention to everything when you can. Now, I only look at the technical analysis because of the simple fact that I don't have enough time to do all my research. If you are investing in specific coins, because I cover a lot of different coins, I would recommend taking the time to understand it more. Chiliz is a unique phenomenon as far as trading is concerned because it follows a different scale. It kind of marches to the beat of its own drum, which is excellent in a lot of ways. But on the same accord, it's not following that typical pullback that we would expect based on the overextension. Okay, so again, just something to kind of think about. What we want to also look at too is the RSI being up over 70. This does imply that that's going to be a support level. So what I teach in my trading university, as well as just to my community, is that when you are taking profits, you wait for the RSI to come back down to retest this level and break below, and that's where you want to take your profits. I know it seems kind of counterintuitive because obviously if the price comes down, RSI will come with it, but a lot of times RSI can calm down and relax on its own while the price is going up or sideways. And with us being up over this key level resistance there at 27 cents, that puts us in a position here where we're going to continue higher. Now I do recall mentioning yesterday that if we close below 27 cents, the price action should pull back. If we close above, we should expect to continue higher. Technically, it didn't do either of those things. It kind of closed really close and essentially never even retraced like we expected. So again, never 100%. You can never truly anticipate that. So unfortunately, there could be some missed opportunity here if you didn't take a long position at the right time. But on the same accord, waiting for the daily close is usually the best practice to make sure that you can get the most accurate information, if you will. But again, with it closing right there at that level, it makes sense that it broke through because there's probably some type of short squeeze, because a lot of folks would probably put the resistance level right there or their stop loss just to be above that key level resistance. It's a very common characteristic. But either way we look at it here, RSI being up over 70 now soundly, there's a great chance we could see another day or two of green. Keep this in mind though, we do have 3 white soldiers here forming, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a red day or a pullback tomorrow. Again, that candlestick pattern doesn't always come to fruition, but in this situation, I think it might, considering how overextended we are. Let's talk about that. So taking a look at the 4 hour, we can see this overextension that I was talking about. And I addressed this yesterday that with us being close to a 9, I think we're at like a 7 or an 8 at the time, and it hit 9, got a little reset, but not a full-on reset, and it's still counting upwards. So, I mean, in truth, we had about 20 hours of consolidation there. That is a lot of times, or oftentimes enough, consolidation to leg up again. Okay, so even though we didn't get that full-on reset, there's a good chance we had enough time there. We can count these 5 candlesticks roughly as 20 hours of continuation to the upside. So we might have another 12 to 16 hours of continuation before it recedes. We want to look at standard deviation next to kind of see if that's going to affect things here, if we're outside of those outliers. But if we have the volume to back this increase, that's why the volume weighted average price is one of my favorite indicators. It'll help us understand if we're well within those margins or not. Okay. But again, extremely overextended here on the 4 hour. Same thing with RSI, it hasn't calmed down yet, and we can see the MACD is still converging. Okay, so in that sense, we can expect the price action to continue sideways or up for the moment based on what we're looking at here. But also note, we should experience a pullback too. I know it seems completely contradictory. We're extremely overextended on every time frame. Why should it continue higher? It really shouldn't. Again, one more day of continuation perhaps to the upside for the daily to hit that 9, and then we'll see a pullback, or tomorrow will be that red day that we're expecting based on 3 white soldiers. So again, if you go on candlestick patterns, we are looking more likely to see a pullback in the next 24 hours. Once again, if you look at the charts here, it's extremely overextended. There shouldn't be any reason for it to continue, but there's a strong likelihood it will. Okay, I know it seems really crazy, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at volume weighted average price. In fact, why don't we just jump right on there? We're going to pull up the 15-minute here, take a look at the volume weighted average price here, and kind of see where we're at. So we are kicking outside these outliers here, so we can see a strong amount of momentum outside of this upper deviation. So oftentimes you're going to see a pullback when that occurs. This leads me to believe there's a strong fundamental catalyst pushing it that much further, because again, when you see the price action bouncing off the volume weighted average price line, that's usually a great sign. So we're on the bullish side of things here. We are overextended, absolutely. So I would say a pullback would make sense in the relative near future. Let's take a quick look at Bollinger Bands. We see a very, very similar circumstance. And of course, that line's just a little bit tighter. Okay, so again, mostly positive, mostly good here. In that sense, I don't see, even though it's extremely overextended, I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. It definitely looks like it wants to continue to run. Let's take a look at the 1 hour and see if there's anything else kind of indicating. Obviously, we got the TD sequential, the Ichimoku cloud giving us all green lights to go ahead and keep our position open. We see TD sequential as well here, hitting another 9. Big surprise, it's a common theme here, helping us understand that we are, once again, overextended to the upside. You see it hit a 9 previously, legged up, and then once again hit a second 9, it should have pulled back by then. Oftentimes when you see 2 9s on TD sequential, the likelihood of a pullback and retracement is extremely high. So what I'd recommend doing here is waiting for the price to come back down if it were to, and then essentially buying the dip for lack of better terms. Now again, buying the dip in general is never a great strategy, but it's a better strategy than shorting against a bullish trend. Okay, so do not get in your mind that when something's overextended, you just want to instantly short it because it is. There has to be a lot of other reasons why. Like Solana, for example, yesterday it made a tremendous amount of sense to short because it was insanely overextended, but there's also a lot of key level resistances. We don't see any key level resistances here. It just keeps on trucking. So once again, we want to be careful and cautious. The last thing to also note too is this level here, right here at about 27 cents. Now that we've broken above that, we can expect it to be a support level. So the price goes sideways and comes back down, hypothetically that'll be a bouncing point for us. So instead of what I was expecting, 22 cents as a potential handle for the previous cup and handle pattern, we now have to reevaluate and expect this previous resistance level is now broken. We're in price discovery, again, recent price discovery. And of course, we can see the price action working its way down to potentially bounce there. So I would have a long potential entry at 27 cents. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put a little notification here right about to say 27.5. So that way we can get notified in case the price comes back down to bounce off that level. I think there's a good chance we will see that, but once again, coins like this right now, you got to be very cautious. And when I said, by the way, when I said price discovery, obviously this is not new price for it, right? But what we got to recognize though is that this most recent high, which again, this basically, it hasn't been above that level since April of earlier this year. This is price discovery in the most recent time frame. Okay, so again, broke above a key level resistance, and we can expect it to work as a support. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at there for Chiliz. I don't foresee it dropping like a rock, but I do expect tomorrow or the day after to be absolutely red in that regard, unless again there's a fundamental catalyst pushing it further. Right now, insanely overextended on every single time frame. The daily is at an 8. We technically still have an extra day's worth of momentum, but on the same accord, how much further can it go? You know, how high can you go? I mean, in truth, it can keep going, obviously, but should it keep going? No. All the traditional indicators are telling us that we are extremely overextended, and there's no other way to put it. So again, that's kind of where we're at there for Chiliz. Hopefully that explains some things for you. And once again, I'd pay attention to tomorrow or the day after for a reduction in price. Be very cautious and careful if you're going to be shorting this coin. Ensure you have a stop loss or you're using isolated margin to just, you know, if it just blasts off and takes off, you're still protected there and you don't wipe out your entire portfolio. Because again, you want to be careful and cautious with cross leverage. Even though I use it as my, in my community for the most part, those are typically all longs. If you look at the shorts, they're traditionally isolated to ensure that you still have that potential, because short positions are tremendously more risky, I guess, for lack of better terms, because there's no limit to how high the price can go, but there's always a limit how low it can go, which is why longs are typically a much better, safer alternative. Please understand that. Again, those are all things I teach in my community. CryptoCash.tech is a site if you want to become a member. I look forward to working with you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I deeply appreciate your time here. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.